Yeah, people, greetings to the room, man. Bless up on yourself, bless up on yourself, and thanks for being here again. Another video. This video is all about the fitness crisis in the national team. Yes, the fitness crisis in the national team. It's real. Ricketts came out and gave his pieces of maybe that was one of the downfall in the Gold Cup. Yes, maybe that was one of the downfall of why the team really crumbled. Not taking away that McLaren didn't really speak enough volume in that tournament as well as the head coach. And also, I'm going to play a clip of a Reggae Boy player, doing an interview for his new club where he talk about the fitness of himself and how much he's fit. And then remember, I came here as well a few days ago, last week, matter of fact, talking about Demarai Gray and his fitness and how Chris Davis, the Birmingham coach, have talked about Demarai Gray fitness issues, how they have to be taking precaution issue, a little bit of precaution that knowing that he's not fully fit, he's not up to the standard of where they want him. Someone that would have played World Cup qualifier game and also Gold Cup game. You understand? So right after this, I will get into the conversation about the fitness crisis in the national team. Look, I'm going to start off with the Demarai Gray issue. Chris Davis came on and said that this is what, for all the people that who was under the rock at the time and didn't hear what Chris Davis have to say, this was what Chris Davis say about the fitness issue of Demarai Gray.
Again, Demi's got a bit of a way to go fitness-wise.
So he have said that, remember Demarai Gray have played in World Cup qualifier game and in the Gold Cup. This player, before the World Cup qualifier squad was announced, he played at least 8 games on the bounce in all of Al Ettifaq league games in the Saudi Pro League. So he played in between 8 or 10 games leading up to the World Cup qualifier window in June. And he played more than 85% of the minutes for his club team. So you a player that who's consistently playing minutes of the club that he's playing for, in the Saudi Pro League, he would have at least have some level of fitness. You understand? Ricketts going to tell you and he's going to expose the players' fitness. So you say Demarai Gray didn't have no form of fitness after finished play the World Cup qualifier and the Gold Cup leading up to the preseason for Birmingham City. That is an issue. That is a big alarming bell, and he cannot continue like that going into the new season after championship. This is real test of the physicality of the player. This will be the real test of him playing in the championship and how much he can stay fit throughout the entire season. If you can get a fit Demarai Gray, you will get a better player. Demarai Gray is a fantastic player, but when he's not fit, he's awful, he's ugly, he looks just as disgusting on the pitch like the Riverton Dome down in Kingston, Jamaica. That's how bad Demarai Gray is when he's not fit. So now, Roman Burrell signed for QPR from Burton Albion. This is a player who is on the up in the last 3 seasons. A player that who have been playing third-tier football in Scotland just over 12 months ago. Just over 12 months ago, he managed to play over 115 games in the last 3 seasons, including the season that just ended, and scored 45 goals in the last 3 seasons. This is a player that is moving up the ladder real quick. Remember, he scored on his debut versus Trinidad and Tobago in the Unity Cup. That little overhead kick, and everyone was going excited that, this is a number 9. And all of a sudden, after the Unity Cup finished, nobody remember the quality that Roman Burrell possesses for the national team. Something that no other striker in our selection pool have his type of quality in terms of the energy, the pace, the pressing, the ability of compromise his game, of sacrificing what he can do just to make sure that the team have the first line of defense in every ball that the opponent team is playing out against the Reggae Boyz. Yeah, this is someone that sacrificed a lot of his game, work effortless in terms of trying to be the first line of defense for the national team. We don't have anybody like that in our selection pool. Burrell is a one of a kind striker that we have in our selection pool. So now I'm saying this was a player was very highly talked about during the Unit Cup. He was missing in the World Cup qualifier. We saw Warner Brown score down at BVI. We saw Warner Brown score versus Guatemala in the stadium. Yes, it would have been a little bit difficult at that time to get him in, but again, when you look at the Gold Cup, you expect him to at least get a lot more minutes in the Gold Cup. He didn't get enough minutes. We brought a player that was involved in a car crash who fight to get back to the level of some type of fitness. And you have to give him a lot of credit for that. And Mikel Antonio. But again, you'd think that Mikel Antonio should reward those minutes over a Ramon Burrell at the time. No, Warner Brown was excellent, but then again, Warner Brown have him look at time in the national team in the Gold Cup. Burrell should at least get more minutes in that tournament. But this is what Burrell have to say in his first interview for Queen's Park Rangers. Yeah, talking about the availability of him and where his fitness is at the moment. And you're going to recommend and you're going to compare that with the Mari Gray clip of what Chris Davis talk about his fitness, and these two players would have gone on to play just as much minutes in both in the entire summer for the Reggae Boyz.
In terms of you as a player, what are your strengths?
I'd say my main strength is my speed. I can stretch teams, and my relentless pressing. I feel like with the head coach and his style of play, it really suits me.
Fitness-wise, where are you at?
I just need a week of training. I think we've got friendly next week. I'm ready for that.
And you've been doing pre-season, etc.?
Yeah, I've been doing pre-season up until this point. I was away with Jamaica in the Unity Cup and the World Cup qualifiers, so I'm ready.
Excellent. So as far as QPR fans are concerned, what they want to hear is that you're ready to go, you're fit and raring to go.
Yeah, I can't wait to get in front of all the fans at Loftus Road.
So the player would have said that you only need a week. You only need a week to and that is just like get back his feet wet again. But his fitness is right up there. The player said he's ready. He's ready. And this is the player that we didn't give enough minutes. I'm going to look at something real quick and I'm going to tell you what. Look at this now. Versus Trinidad and Tobago, he played 90 minutes. Versus Nigeria, he played 60 minutes. He benched versus British Virgin Islands. He played just 30 minutes in the national stadium versus Guatemala. That will be his home debut in Kingston. He played just 24 minutes versus Guatemala in the Gold Cup. He benched versus Guadeloupe and he did not even play on the pitch. He didn't even come on the pitch. He did not even came on the pitch versus the Panamanian team. Not even smell the pitch. And this player would have been one of our fittest players. Now, listen to what Michael Ricketts have to say, what Steve McLaren would have said about the fitness of the players after coming from their little their vacation break from their club that the season would have ended for their club. We went on a little mini vacation and coming back, the attitude of the players and the fitness and the mentality of the players. This is what President Ricketts have to say around this as well.
And he thought that we played so poorly in the Gold Cup that he really had to do an in-depth introspection and post-mortem. And he thought that a number of players would have just come back from their holidays. I mean, weren't very keen, weren't very sharp, weren't very fit. Even mentally, he thought that a number of them just weren't in the right frame of mind. And that could have contributed to a poor showing. Of course, the breaks didn't go our way.
So, we hear where Ricketts have to say that mentally, the players them weren't ready. Fitness, they were awful. They were just all over the place. What the players them? More have to know, like, if our players are really serious about their profession as a football player. Like, how can you come in off a long dreadful season where you play between 6 to 8 months of football and then you missing for at least a week for your personal vacation time and then you come back, you're not fit enough? This all adds up of one, not playing, consistently for the club team. Two, players are not taking care of their body. Players are not looking after their body the right and proper way. Players are not eating properly. And this goes for everybody. And a lot of our players building up towards the World Cup qualifier and the Gold Cup. A lot of players play, who got selected in those two camps, the World Cup qualifier and the Gold Cup. I know for sure didn't play the minutes that they really would have wanted to play throughout the entire season. So that would at least would have called for, look, yes, less minutes on the football pitch will lead to lack of fitness, lack of sharpness. But then again, if you are not playing week on week up to the standard, it's will down to the players to keep at least a level of standard that whenever they call up on, they at least ready to at least 90% ready. Only thing they would need are just a couple of weeks to get back to match sharpness. Because not playing any football for 3-4 weeks, going on the football pitch, you don't have that confidence. But the moment you start to touch the football, the moment you start to train, or the moment you start to play a little bit of minutes in competitive games, then you will recapture a little bit of that momentum and start to get back a little bit sharp. Our players haven't done anything like that. Keeping up the fitness regime in their personal time and leading up into the international windows, our players weren't even fit. That lead to one of the devastating trauma that happened in the World Cup of why we crashed out and why the team looked so lackluster. And these issues are not for the international coaching staff to get these players fit after coming off a long season. What the trainers for the national team would have done over this time is to keep up the standard of the fitness, keep up the standard of the fitness of the players. At least keep up the standard. That's where the national team is for. It's not to get the players in fit. It's to make sure that the players keep at least a level of standard as fitness so they could be ready to play in any game at the highest level, running up and down on that football pitch. Something wrong with our players. Something is wrong with certain of our players. Our players are not disciplined of treating their body. They are not disciplined and true to the game. They just think that go on the football pitch and play football. It's not going to work. And again, how long we are going to continue to do stuff like this of picking players that who are not ready, who are not sharp enough, who are not fit enough to play games for the national team. If you are not fit enough, you need to stay home. We need to set a standard. We need to start to make players be all accountable. Yes, we need to start to hold players accountable for their action of not fit enough for the national team. And these stuff need to stop. These things don't happen in the bigger market. Players take care of their body. Players always fit. Players have at least a level of standard of fitness, even if they're not playing week and week out or playing the minutes that they really want to play to have that level of fitness. Something is wrong. I said it and I'm going to say it again. A lot of these players, there's a virus in the camp. Not just one, not just two, there's a lot of virus in the camp. What is the standard we are going to hold with the Mason Greenwood coming in this selection very soon? What will be? This player, Mason Greenwood, was one of the fittest players. Look, the more physical ready after doing his first couple of days checking up at Olympique Marseille, coming back from his personal vacation. The trainers were very pleased with Mason Greenwood. Roberto De Zerbi in his coaching staff, they were very pleased of the Mason Greenwood, the physique of what they test and saw from Mason Greenwood report, his physical report. How good his physical report was in terms of and compared with different Marseille players. He was one of the top-notch player in terms of physical ready for the new season without a preseason ball kick. That is a player who want to go somewhere. Our players, them a joke. Them a joke. So if we are not fit as a selective bunch of players, we are in problem again. Say it again, if we are not fit enough as a selective bunch of players, our marquee and star players are not fit enough, we going to spell problem. It's not just the quality speak volume on a football pitch. I can tell you this. You can have all the quality that you want, but if you are not fit enough, you cannot produce that quality 100% on how you want to run on a football pitch, because the moment you start to run, you're going to start to lose your breath. Your stamina will be low. And then after that, you can't even sprint or make a pass again because you're too tired. So, best up on yourself. Thanks for passing through. Really appreciate it. Salute to the people. And on your way out, remember to don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm out. Ciao, ciao.